In this lesson, we're going to look at something called predicate functions. A predicate function is a function that returns a true or false value. And you use it a lot when you're just trying to make simple tests on values of different types. The first one I'm going to demonstrate for you is to test to see if a number is even. So, first of all, predicate functions always return a Boolean value. So, the first thing we do is set the return type for the function as bool. Then we're going to name our function isEven, and that's a very common way to name a predicate function, is with some sort of naming device to indicate that we're checking to see if a value is one thing or the other. So then we'll provide the single value, or the single parameter number. Then our next thing to do is to actually test. So we're going to say if number modulus 2 equals 0, return true. Otherwise, return false. And to be honest, that's all we have to do for this function. We know that any number modulus 2 that's equal to 0 must be even. In other words, any number divided by 2 that has no remainder is an even number. So let's test that with a couple of values. We'll write a little program to do that. Easy enough. So you see how the predicate function is used. It exists on its own, and it's going to return either a true or false value. Either 22 is even or it's not. So let's compile and run the program. Take it just a moment. And we see 22 is even. Let's change that to an odd number. 37, and then run it again. 37 is odd. So that's one example of a predicate function. Let's look at another one. Kind of a long name. In fact, let me fix that name. And what I'm trying to do here is, let's say that we have I'll tell you what, we're going to change that name completely. We're going to call it isPassing. And what we're going to do here is we're going to look at a pass-fail grade. And either the grade is a passing grade or it's not. And so we're going to decide what that's going to be. So we're going to say if grade is greater than 69, return true, else return false. So then we can test that. We'll comment out this other code. Same sort of program. Oops. Whoops. So we're simply going to use the predicate function to decide if a score is passing or not. Let's compile and run this program. 88 is a passing grade. Again, our criteria is the grade must be greater than 69. So then let's try a failing score. We'll go right below that. I'm sorry, 68 is not a passing grade. So here we've seen two examples of Boolean functions. Is even, which determines if a number is even or not, and is passing, which determines if a grade is passing or not. And you'll have lots of opportunities in programs to write these types of functions, and they're very useful because they make it very easy to write if-else-if or if-else statements using them rather than writing out the logic in the if statement. It's easier just to work it with a predicate function. And with that, we've wrapped up this lesson on predicate functions.